What's good, people? It's also BBrightz and I am back with a brand new video. Today we're doing something new on the channel. So over the past few months I've been doing live streams every Monday where I'm listening to people's demos and tracks and giving them feedback to improve it. Stuff like that. But instead of doing a 2-hour live stream where I just go through and give people feedback, I've decided to make it a video every Wednesday. So starting from now, every Wednesday I'll be doing a demo feedback video. If you want your video to be featured in a video to give feedback, send it to the email in the description, bbrightzpromo@gmail.com, and you can have your track featured in the video. If you're not in this video, don't worry, you'll probably be in the next. Before we get into it, a few disclaimers. Do not take the advice personally, I'm just giving feedback, so it's all to help you improve your track. So don't take any harm by it, I'm just trying to help you improve your track. Secondly, if your video, or if your song's not in the video, again, don't worry, you'll probably be in the next episode, or if you have another track you want to send me, send it through and you will most likely be featured in the next video. And finally, if the track you send me is released, I will put a link in the description for people to listen to it. If it's private, then I will not, obviously it's unreleased. But other than that, we can get straight into the video. For the first video, I'm only listening to 6 songs this episode. Next episode we'll try and add a few more in, but straight away we're going to get into track 1, and it's by a guy called HNIV, I guess, and it's called All I Want Is You Master 4. So we can get into this right now. This is the first track. If anyone has any feedback for people, leave it in the comments. It's all a community, we're helping each other out, and let's get into this. So let's go. So, feedback so far, I would recommend layering the snare build up. It's a bit dry, just one snare, maybe try and add a snare with a bit more body and warmth to it, just to give it a bit more power. Also, I'd recommend doing the reverb technique with the snares. If you're not sure what I mean by that, check the video on screen now. Check that out, it's a technique that you can do with snares with reverb automation to build tension in the build up. Helps to make the build up sound a bit more professional. Try that. Next, I heard that there's a stab in the drop that isn't in key with the kick, so you can either remove that and it can continue the same stab, or you can either change the key of the sub kick. So in the drop you'll hear that the drop stab changes key, but the kick stays the same. Right there. So you can either change the key of the kick or just keep the stab the same. It's entirely up to you how you want to go with it. Next, I would recommend boosting the high end on the kick just a tiny bit, just to give it a bit more attack. Get that click of the kick to punch for a bit more, give it a bit more power. And finally, maybe if you can add like a cowbell or some sort of drop feel before the drop, just to keep the momentum and the rhythm going so people know when it's going to hit. So if you add like a cowbell and then the big snare comes in on the 4th hit, it'll sound really good. So let's continue on with the break. Maybe when the kick and all that comes in, maybe add some more super saw chords just to give a bit more harmonics and more emotion. Add some more simple triads, or you can go a bit more and add some extra just extended chords just to give it a bit more power and harmonics and emotion to the super saw leads. And when the kick comes in, it'll hit really a lot better. So let's go on to the final drop. So yeah, second drop is obviously different to the first. One thing I'd recommend doing is adding like a drop hoover just to continue the power in the second drop. So we just obviously the sustain and root key of the note. Do that. You can get it from the Cashmere packs or make one yourself. Also, yeah, like I said, maybe recommend adding a drop fill or a cowbell or something before the drop just to reinforce the rhythm. And maybe try and do the little pitch kicks where you pitch the kicks with the melody so it has a nice harmonic variation, like right here. Maybe try and pitch the kicks there to fit that. But other than that, that is all the feedback I can give. Really good track, solid first one, clean mix down. And yeah, on to the next. So next we have a track from BBrightz. It's called ID 128 in the key of E major. So let's get right into it. So yeah, same as before, maybe boost the high end of the kick just to give it a bit more attack, it'll punch through a lot more. Also maybe add a bit more sidechain on the drop hoover in the intro, just to give it a bit more pumping feeling. And maybe you could like, for the last 4 bars, maybe pitch it up, so it pitches up just so it's a nice transition into the first break. So right here, maybe do a nice little pitch automation and pitch it up. Just to give it a nice transition into the first break. But let's go into the first break now. Very, very powerful. Clean mix down. Sounds very, very good. Very nice switch up as well. This sounds incredible so far. Very, very good. Very good, BBrightz. You smashed it. Powerful drop. Not much I can say other than what I said before in the intro. Just boost the high end of the kick just a little more, just to give it a bit more attack. As soon as that punches through a bit more, that drop is going to hit hard. It already hits hard, but it's going to hit harder. Very, very nice. Let's move on to the second break. Very good job, man. Maybe in the second break add a kick drum when the super saws hit, just to give it a bit more variation from the first break, makes it a little different. You could add a kick drum there. Maybe you could also add like quite a filtered out sawtooth bass line that follows the same rhythm of the melody. Because obviously you have the sustained sub bass sine wave going following the bass notes. Maybe you could add like some sort of sawtooth that's been filtered with a couple like with the high frequencies cut out. Follows the same rhythm as the melody, might reinforce the rhythm a bit more. But yeah, add a kick drum, makes it different from the first break. Let's continue. This seems like a bridge section, going from the second break into a bridge back into the build up again. So maybe what you could do in this so-called bridge section, maybe add some sort of interactive vocals, some crowd chants that the crowd can follow. Because if this is played live, it could be a nice interactive track with the crowd, gets them going, and then it goes back into the build up, and then it will hit hard again. So yeah, maybe try that. Very, very nice, man. I really like that switch up. Fits really nice. Other than that, the drop's perfect. Hits really hard. That's pretty much all the feedback I can give. The drop's really nice. Just working at some of the stuff in the second break, and you're good to go, man. Well done, Frags. Brilliant track. On to the next. Next, we have a song from Perp called Pandora. Let's get right into it. I think it's another big room track. 3 big rooms in a row. I love big room. I'm not going to complain. Let's go. So maybe try and work on the break and the build up volume. You can see in the waveform it's a lot quieter than the drop. Maybe try and even out the volume levels so it sounds as one. It's a very good idea. It hits hard. You just may need to work on just the volume levels because the snares sound a little too quiet. So maybe try and even out the volume levels of the break and build up to the intro and drop. Make it sound like one track, and then it will hit twice as hard. Clean mix down and a drop. Pretty much every track in a row now saying the same thing. Just boost the high end on that kick just to give it the tiny bit more attack. The more attack and the nice clicky bit it will punch through the mix, make it sound like a very nice aggressive kick, and it will hit twice as hard.
Pandora is a box, Azur's mythical box. My father is Ephaestus in org.
Add an EQ on the vocal, do a tiny like a 1 or 2 dB dip in the 200 Hz range and maybe the 500 Hz range. That can give the vocal quite a boxy tone, makes it sound a bit odd. So maybe try and tone it down like 1 or 2 dB, make it sound less boxy, less muddy, make it fit in the mix, and you'll be good to go.
Of Zeus, that contains all evil that was created by the Titanomachy. The worst that can happen is the destruction of everything you know.
Yeah, so just remove that boomy effect in the vocal, it'll sound a lot better. Maybe try not to have the filter effect on the lead so aggressive. Try and make it less aggressive, just so you can have the listener hear the melody nice and clear, understand the emotion of the melody, make it hit a lot harder. So try and tone down that filter effect and let the melody play out nicely. And then back into the same drop. I just had to double check that drop hoover sounded like it's in a different key, so you may want to double check that. Check the key of your root key of the sub. The drop hoover seems a little out of key, so let me just double check that. Yeah, so you may need to pitch it down a few semitones just to get it in the same root key. Other than that, solid track. Work on the things I just mentioned. No need to repeat myself. And you're good to go, man. Good track perp. And again, on to the next. And the next song is by someone called Pedro. It's called Untitled Demo 2020. Brilliant name. And let's get right into it. The drop hits really hard, very clean mix down. What I'd say in the build up is maybe add more like audible snare, gives it a bit more energy, add a bit more sweeps and risers just to add that energy, and then maybe add like a EQ on the master and create an automation clip and do like a nice low cut just to take some of that sub and bassy out of the build up. And when the drop hits, all the bass and sub will come back in, it hit a lot harder. So yeah, let's keep going. Very nice drop though. Yeah, the drop's very cleanly mixed, sounds tight, a lot of bass, very clean mixed synths, kick, drums. Let's continue to the break. Like before, always try and make your second break a bit more interesting than the first. I can see you've added that low subby kick. Maybe try and add some background effects or some background atmos like oceans or rain or a fountain or anything like that. Maybe add some reverse vocals and reverse synths, just some weird ambience and cool effects, just to keep it interesting, nice and atmospheric, yeah. Maybe add a more aggressive pluck. You can probably layer it or just change the pluck sound. Just make it a bit more aggressive, just to reinforce the melody, let the listener hear the melody, get used to the melody, and when it drops, again, it will hit harder. And again, same before, same as the build up, add a bit more of a punchy snare just to reinforce the build up, effects, risers, good to go. And the same drop, very nicely mixed drop, no need to give feedback on that because you've done really good on that. And that's pretty much it. Listen to the outro quick. And the same as before. So yeah, that's my feedback. Very good track, Pedro. And on to the next, number 5. So we've got 2 more tracks to go, this one and one more. This next one is from someone called Francis and it's called Let You Go and it's progressive house. So let's get right into it. Yeah, maybe make the strings a bit more wider. Nice, like string instruments, violins and strings and all that. Sound really nice if you spread them out stereo field. Gives them a nice, more wider sound. Also remove the snap from the first 8 bars. You usually just want the nice vocals and the chords and the melodies to get in motion first, and then you start adding percussion and getting the rhythm going. So yeah, maybe after 8 bars add the snap and then you're good to go. Also try and add a bit more warm sub frequencies, maybe add like a bass guitar or a bass pad in like the second half or the 16th or 24th bar, just to add a bit more warm frequencies, fill it up a bit more, fill the frequencies up a bit more, give it a bit more body, and it will sound a lot better. Same as before, work on your build up, make the snare a bit more punchy just to let everyone know it's the build up. Add more rises, effects, create the build up energy, create the tension in the build up to make the drop hit hard when it builds up, and you're good to go. Yeah, definitely turn up the side chain on your chords, synths and bass. Let the kick puncher give it a bit more room to breathe. Also, maybe use a bit more EQ. Cut some of the frequencies out of the chords. Let the top leads hit through a bit more. Maybe layer them up a bit more just to get that melody to hit through. You always want to give each part of the drop its own space. So cut some frequencies out of the bass to let the chords breathe. Cut some frequencies out of the chords so that the top leads breathe, otherwise all these frequencies are going to build up and create a messy mix and all muddy. So work on that, do a lot more EQing, clean up the frequencies, and you're good to go. Yeah, so the main thing is definitely turn up the sidechain on all your sounds just to get that kick to punch through a bit more, and maybe layer up and give the top leads a bit more power, reinforce that melody, the melody that gives the emotion, so make sure that's one of the forefront sounds, make it as best sounding as possible, and just work on your overall mix down to get all the drums and sounding perfect. Volume mixing is very important. But yeah, let's continue on the last 8 bars. So yeah, just use a bit more EQ, clean up the whole sound, volume mixing, get it all sounding nice, and all the previous feedback I've given, and you'll be good to go. So that's the 5th track from Francis. Brilliant track, work on it, and we're on to the final track. And this is the final track. It's from someone called Yaniv, called Tell Me. So this is the final one. Let's get right into it, and I hope you enjoy. Nice mix down, sounding good so far.
I'm falling down just for you. Imagine what it's like to be lost with you and nobody else. You and me,
Really good so far. Nice mix down.
Tell me, tell me.
Definitely turn up the snare a bit more, reinforce that build up, let everyone know it's coming, add more energy, rises. Rises add so much more tension and build up and all that to your build ups, make it so much more aggressive and gives up so much more energy. Take advantage of them, be careful, but it will add so much more to your build up. Very nice sound selection, very, very nice. Very, very nice. Don't be afraid to like boost the low end with an EQ. There's many producers now that just put an EQ on a specific track or on the master and literally just boost the low end a couple dB. There's no rules. If there is rules, break them. That's the whole point. Don't be afraid to do it. It gives it a bit more power. So yeah, maybe try and push a couple more sub frequencies out of the track. It will sound a lot better. Let's go into the second break.
I'm falling down just for you. Imagine what it's like be lost with you and nobody else.
Yeah, definitely in the second break, add some waterfalls, rain, ocean, just some sort of airy white noise that gives it just that bit of atmospheric sound, fills it up a bit more. Vinyl crack or anything like that will just fill it up a bit more.
You and me.
Very nice break beat. Definitely, like I said before, try and add a kick in the second break, just to give it a little bit more difference in the first break. There's the kick. Done it for me. Well done, Yaniv. Maybe in this section when the kick comes in, maybe add one more layer and do some sort of counter melody or harmony melody just to give it a bit more playful sound. Maybe right now, just for the second drop alone, only for the second drop, add a cowbell right here, just to dong dong. Obviously not that cowbell, but just a cowbell of some sort. If you can make it like a tonal one and choose the right tone, the right key of your song, that'll make it even better. Just to reinforce that rhythm, and then drop hits again. Let's go. Very nice, Yaniv. Very nice mix down. You could probably push a few more sub-frequencies out of it and maybe make it a bit more louder. If you have Untitled, lob it on the master, give it an overall more polished sound. It already sounds really good, so solid work. So, well done. So one thing I'm going to be doing every video for these demo videos is picking the track of the video. So the amount of tracks I listen to, I'm going to pick one that was my favorite. And that's pretty much it. So for this video, the track of the video goes to Frag's ID 128 E major. Just because the drop hit very hard, very clean mix down. I like the switch up, very clean sounding sound selection and synths. So we're going to give the drop one more listen and then we can end the video. So congrats to you, Frags, if you're watching. Be sure to send me more of your music because this is very good. Let's go. So awesome drop, very, very powerful, and that is the track of the video. So I hope you all enjoyed. If you did, smash the like button, helps the channel grow, makes me happy. I hope you're starting to enjoy this new video every Wednesday I'm doing now, a demo video. Like I said at the beginning, if you want your track to be featured in a video, send it to the email in the description, bbrightzpromo@gmail.com, and you could have your track featured. I'll give you feedback as usual, and you could be potentially chosen for the track of the video. There's no sort of accomplishment from it, but it's just my favorite track of the video. So I hope you enjoyed. New video Friday, Sabres from start to finish track part 6, and I'll speak to you all very, very soon.